everyone, welcome back to some more Analogue A Hate Story. I've been meaning to record more of this for a very long time, I just haven't had the time to do it. So let's begin. Okay, so what is it that you want to know about? Why don't you show me something now? Whatever. How do I do this again? Oh, we got some new in block 3. Sweet. Visit from Zhang. My husband was out of the... Sinjin? I don't remember anymore. My husband was out of the house, as he usually is during the day, so our servant fetched me instead to tell me that someone was at the door. I was in the middle of a conversation with Mute, but had no idea how I was expected to respond to that. What do I do? I asked her. She just responded in that usual shocking, crass manner of hers. Gee, I don't know. You could try answering the door, maybe? Just a thought, of course. So I excused her and went to do that, but with a great degree of nervousness. I have never done this before. At the door was my youngest brother-in-law, Sang-sha, who I had only met a few times before, although husband mentioned him often enough, usually in the same breath as calling him an irresponsible drunk. Seeing him did nothing short of compound my anxieties. There it is. Hello, sir. We're off to a good start, I see. Hello, sir, I stammered. So Jin, he responds with an unbelievable volume. It's great to see you again. Hope you don't mind me dropping by unannounced. I just figured I haven't seen my new niece yet, and it's been forever since I've been in the old house, so, well, I thought I'd stop by and say hello to your daughter. I don't know. Sorry, my husband isn't home right now. Maybe you should come back later, I said, shifting uncomfortably. Oh, please, be a good girl. Let me come see her. I'm really not here for your husband. This was awkward. I didn't exactly want to turn away my brother-in-law, especially if he just wanted to see baby Mindy. But this was hardly proper. It really wouldn't be my place. Sorry, you'll have to wait until my husband gets back. I trailed off. He rolled his eyes and then smiled at me. Really? Come now. You're a smarter woman than that, he said and put his hand on my shoulder. This had now moved on to incredibly uncomfortable. You really value his authority that much? He's my husband, I responded. What else could I say? He replied, Wow, no wonder he walks all over you, if that's how you treat him. You have got a lot to learn about dealing with men, dear Sojin, especially my brother. But come on now, this is a bad conversation for a doorway. Can't I see my niece? I hear she's rather adorable. I took a deep breath. I'm sorry, I said, trying to be as bold as I could. I'm going to have to go now. Sorry. I started to close the door on him. Alright, I understand. I'll talk to him myself, later. Don't worry, I won't mention his visit. Do say hello to her mother for me, though, he said, and left. Oh, right. Not actually her daughter. Got it. My heart nearly skipped a beat when he said those words. I stood there in the doorway for a good while, stunned. Even now, I still have much to think about. Not simply his knowledge of our child's true mother, a matter of great secrecy, but also what he said about my husband. Perhaps his words are true. Man, reading that, I just can't believe that's her. She used to be so timid. Thinking of me as having a shocking, crass manner, or being afraid of her brother-in-law at the door? Well, it's all what I expected from her at the time. She just changed a whole lot as she got older. Well, honestly, maybe not as much as I thought. She might have been bolder behind her husband's back, but in front of him, that never really changed much. Well, what do you think? Should she have listened to Sang-jun about being less deferential to her husband? Yes. Yeah, I'm sure you would say that. You're not only outside of home, you're off in the middle of space. So don't you dare look down on her for that. Don't you dare. I'm not looking down on her. I'm just saying, should she have? Maybe. But if she didn't, that's her business, not mine. Oh my gosh, calm down. I mean, I'm not judging. If you really think that's the appropriate thing for a woman to do, then, well, whatever. But look, Sojin wasn't like you. She didn't understand her place, ultimately, and she was interested in being a good wife. Then that's her business. You just asked for my opinion. I didn't say that's what she should do. Okay. Either way, well, she did change in some ways. Would you like me to show you what I'm talking about there? I mean, just as a warning, it's some pretty scandalous stuff. Ooh, she was involved in. Do you want to see? Yes. Okay then. Oh, this isn't for the faint of heart, but I think you'll see what I mean. I'm warning you right now. It does get a little bit gross, but well, wow, just see it for yourself. It's definitely a big fall for her. You'll see what I mean soon enough. Well then. This one. Drank himself to death. As horrible as it is to say, I don't think anyone was really surprised when brother-in-law Sang Zheng was found dead. Nobody asked how, nor has anyone so much as mentioned the word drinking in my presence since. Even the ordinary, extremely candid Mute has been entirely somber. Mother-in-law, I understand why she's been taking it so hard, and have been working hard to stay well out of her way while the funeral preparations are being settled. But Mute? I had no idea they were so close, yet in our last conversation I could have sworn she was on the verge of tears. I had never seen such a reaction from her in all my time here. As for myself, I have an awful confession I can make to no one. I have put on a somber face, acting as though I am sad as the rest, since that is, of course, what is expected. But it pains me to admit that I'm not. It is not as if I don't find it tragic, and I feel bad for thinking this, but I didn't know him at all. How could I possibly bring myself to feel as upset as I'm expected to be? I don't blame you, honey. If you don't know him, you just have to feel sad for your husband, I guess. You gotta say. Well, we've seen most everything about the Smith family now, except the most scandalous stuff. Sort of warning, what do you think of their fall? I don't remember. Okay, the drunk brother was actually a pretty good guy to his family. One of the brothers was a dick, I think. To the drinking guy, yeah, I don't think it affects him. So I just got distracted, like my nail polish looked like a weird pill. I'm like, is it like freezing for some reason? My apartment's cold, but it isn't that cold. Shouldn't have happened. Yeah, I know, but after Sang Zheng died, well, with him gone, it's no surprise things fell apart. Anyways, regardless of whether you think it should have happened or not, it was a pretty terrible thing to have happened to what used to be the greatest noble family. And certainly they didn't deserve to be first brought down by the Kim family, then murdered by the Kim dollar. Whoa, okay. Maybe I don't want to say that Sang Zheng was lucky. That's not true. If he was around, maybe things would have turned out better. He always had a way of making things perfect. Still, I'd rather he be killed by his own habit than by that girl. He deserved better than what he got, but it would have been even worse if not for that. Is I guess what I'm saying? Okay. I hadn't really thought about it that way before. Really, were he around, that's totally what he'd say. Practically imagine his voice even. The drink will inevitably kill you, and a woman will inevitably kill you, so I'd rather take the one that isn't always bitter. Alcohol cannot be bitter? I'm sorry, I only turned legal recently, so I know very little. But pretty much unless... I find most of it extremely bitter unless it's completely saturated in juice or pop. So it's wait, there's some that isn't bitter? That'd be amazing. Says the person who really only drinks vodka mixed with a bunch of other stuff. Anyways. Or something like that. Haha, yeah. Well anyways, that's enough of all that. Would you like to see some more scandalous stuff from the Smith family now? Yes. Okay then. Oh, this isn't for... yeah. Is that it? Sweet. Boop. And... boop. Block 2? Or is this scandalous stuff? This might be the scandalous stuff, so let's do some older things. Let's do block 10. Oh! Where's this scandalous stuff? Oh wait, I can check here. What's the newest? What is the newest? Okay, no, block 10. It's block 2 is the new stuff. What's in this? Oh wow, what? Okay, I guess I'll get to that later. Oh, is that Mute's questions for, Asia? No, that's the character from Dandelion. I don't remember what the other AI's name is. Wait a second. The Pale Bride. Anyways. Martial Abominations Part 1. Wait, no. Not Abominations. Admonitions. Okay. That's a D, not B. Completely different word. To the woman who will marry my husband. As you are doubtlessly aware, it is traditional for a nobleman's mother to write poetic admonitions to be sent to the bride to be before she enters the family, explaining the circumstances and proffering advice to her. Sadly, your mother-in-law is long since departed, leaving the responsibilities in my hands. I never had any such letters sent to me, for reasons which I'll explain soon enough, and I have furthermore studied verse only enough to know that I am unable to write it well. I hope you do not think less of me, young pale bride, for addressing these letters in plain speech instead. Rather pay attention to my words over my form, and please do not be hasty in erasing these letters after reading, for your own sake. I hope you find the advice and knowledge I will impart on you useful. Probably going to say the same thing every time, isn't she? Yeah, like I said, I suggested she wrote them in a straight prose. As for the reason why she didn't get anything from her own mother-in-law, well, that's pretty complicated. There were kind of some issues in the family there. You see what I mean if you read on. Oh! How have I never noticed this? Okay. To the woman who will marry my husband, as you are no doubt aware, the royal family has extremely long and proud, not prude, arguably same thing, proud history. Every man to hold the title Captain Emperor has always been of our house, and you are here to make sure that continues for another generation. The name goes all the way back to the ancient times. Mythology speaks of Captain Ryu, who had control of even the ship's movement through the stars themselves. Such things remained far removed from everyday life, but it is important to understand the significance of the house, and of the title that your first son will eventually come to inherit. Okay, just so I know which one is whatever I read. Part 7, okay. So we can skip part 7 then. To the woman who will marry my husband, it is an obvious matter that I do have the same family name as my husband. The official story... Do you have the same family name? Okay. Official story, if you have not already heard of it, is that we are cousins, making our marriage improper and less than ideal, but somewhat acceptable given the circumstances. At the time, there were no noble daughters who had not already been promised or given away in marriage, and obviously a girl of any lesser upbringing could not possibly be suitable as a queen. Hence, cousins would simply have to do. Break a marriage, dude. He's the emperor. Ugh. Anyways, strictly speaking, this is all true. The part about there not being any noble daughters available is not a misrepresentation. As far as any official genealogy is concerned, the emperor is the son of my father's brother. Yeah, that's how it works. Good job. The part which you may not speak openly is that he is the old emperor's son only by adoption. As far as blood goes, my husband is also my brother. As children, we never lived together. Oh no. Okay. As far as blood goes, my husband is also my brother. As children, we never lived together, and it would, of course, have been strictly improper to spend any time together at that age. I would never say anything such as that my husband actually arranged for there to be no noble daughters to marry out of his desire to marry me. That would, of course, be a rather bold move to accuse an emperor as such. But you may wish to consider what the implications might be if such a thing truly did happen. I leave it to you to decide whether or not such a thing is plausible. All I will say is that despite our marriage being one of necessity, my husband has always been very fond of me. This is creepy. Yeah, that's okay. What she's suggesting? That is gross and wrong and definitely, well, I don't think a bold move even begins to cover what she's saying. I feel bad saying this. I liked her. We were close. She was a good woman, but my real master was the emperor, and it would be disservice to give her a pass on this. She was way over the line here. I think it damned irresponsible of her to have even considered telling the pale bride that. Why would she even need to know? Anyways, I don't buy the implication. I don't think it's even true. I don't know if you noticed, but the Magonghwa's birth rates are, well, it's not good. They had been bad for generations, but they were getting worse and worse. Among noble families, they weren't even at replacement rate anymore. I have no idea why. Nobody really ever wanted to acknowledge it. So what I'm saying is, even ignoring the fact that he wanted and her suggestion is wrong, I don't think the Emperor would have to contrived it so that there weren't any noble daughters of proper age. The simple fact of the matter is that such sort of incest ended up being necessary, and apparently didn't help since even she couldn't deliver a son anyway. No awful and inappropriate theories are necessary. Did I show her this? I don't think I did. Anything new to say? Well, if that sounds like a kind of simplistic explanation, you have to understand it's not really like anyone had the frame of reference to really get space travel. Even I only sort of barely understand it, and I'm the ship computer. That's not good. Imagine what it must be like for some barely educated woman in a society that doesn't really understand technology, having only ever lived inside the ship. So, a description of Captain Emperor's role as well. It's a little mythologizing, okay, but it's pretty much accurate, right? Okay, on to part 4. To the woman who will marry my husband. As for responsibilities, your burden will be quite light. You will, of course, be expected to be the model of feminine virtue, but truthfully, I do not expect you will have very much trouble with this. So long as you keep your head down, avoid scandal, and keep quiet, that will more than suffice. She doesn't know how to keep her head down. She is a complete and utter scandal, because she doesn't know how to stay quiet. This is gonna end badly. As far as the day-to-day is concerned, you will have nothing to concern yourself with, as this is the royal family you are marrying into. As a queen, I run the management of the house affairs and will not require any assistance from you. In that regard, as part of the royal concubine demonstration of modesty, you will have to share my own personal servant and will not have one of your own. While you will not have to be responsible for all the housework, be modest and do not remain idle at her expense. You are expected to be as unseen as the servants and to be voiceful only in the most moderation. Do not speak harshly to your servant and be appreciative of what she does and not incompassionate. Your one sole responsibility will be spending as much time with the Emperor as it takes to produce a son. After you give birth, you will not need to worry about raising him. I'll be there to make sure that it is all arranged for. Simply make our husband happy and keep out of sight and give him a son, and you will have no more to worry about yourself with. Sorry, I needed to cough. That's interesting. What do you gotta say? Well, I guess I'll grant the Pale Bride one thing. You never have to worry about her speaking out of turn. Really, at the time, she seemed like the perfect, virtuous wife, right up until she snapped at the end. I know, how do you even reconcile that, right? How can someone seem so close to being that pinnacle of feminine virtue, then turn out to be so completely messed up? Still, I don't get it, not even slightly. Part 5. The virtues which you are expected to demonstrate are simply those expected of any woman, and given your noble upbringing, I will not condescend to treat you as if you do not already know them quite well. You are expected to be quiet and obedient to me as well as obviously to our husband. Perchance you are scolded, trust my judgment as your elder. I will never act out of anger or spite. Is scolded by your husband, always respond with a smile, for your relationship with him must always be warm, and he is a wise man. I do not, however, anticipate such things would be problems. He told me of the interview in which he spoke to you, had nothing to report at all on your manner of speech, so I trust it was entirely proper and polite. In light of that, I will say nothing further of the matter. As far as ritual obligations go, you have none, save for following in my lead. Both your mother and father-in-law are long dead, so you have no further obligations to them. I had trouble adjusting at first, but I anticipate nothing you could be surprised by. Well, I guess I'll grant the Pale Bride one thing. Yeah, no, we already read this.